The Owen James Report is brought to you by
This program is brought to you by the Grace Kennedy Group. We choose to care. Grace Kennedy Money Services has been here for you and your family, here and abroad, because we understand that you're receiving more than money. You're receiving their love. Grace Kennedy Financial Group has been here for you because we know it's more than just investments, insurance, or banking. It's about security and creating a path to realizing your dreams. For 90 years, honesty, integrity, and trust. The Grace Kennedy Group, we choose to care.
A very good evening and welcome to the Owen James Report. I'm Garfield Burford, sitting in tonight for Owen James. And we begin with an update on a story that we have been tracking since last week about the concerns that the worsening situation in Iraq could push up oil prices. Some observers are concerned by the worsening political situation in Baghdad and the escalating humanitarian crisis in the north of the country, where hundreds of persons have been displaced by Islamic State rebels or IS. Now, the US has been carrying out airstrikes seeking to push back the rebels who have made a lightning advance across swathes of the country. Now, some believe this could result in a surge in the price of oil, which would push up Jamaica's import bill and in the process reverse the improvement in the country's trade deficit. However, financial analyst Jason Morris is seeking to allay at least some of those concerns, noting that oil installations have not yet been affected by the increase in hostilities in that country.
So if you remember, June, early part of July, crude oil prices actually spiked, and the expectation that when these militants have started to progress through Iraq, that the risk was there that they could take over the southern part of Iraq, which is where majority of the oil refineries are based. So the airstrikes by the US has actually lessened the risk that they are actually threatening this oil-rich part of Iraq, and therefore crude oil continues to fall. And when you combine that with the fact that from the US standpoint, inventory levels have been rising, and US is actually producing at record levels, then that is kind of keeping a cap on crude oil.
In other news now, a war of words is developing between the Jamaica Manufacturers Association, the JMA, and economist Dr. Damian King. Now, Dr. King used a newspaper column on Sunday to criticize the Jamaica Manufacturers Association, saying, quote, "Nearly every call coming from a JMA president has been for some special manufacturers only, or worse, JMA members only facilitation, whereby they are exempted from the taxes, duties, interest, rent." He insists that these exemptions place a burden on other sectors in the economy. However, JMA President Brian Pengele has hit back in a stinging retort against Dr. King, saying it is disappointing that Dr. King, who he called a respected economist, did not take the time to present his views with more depth of analysis and balance. Now, he argued that tourism, agriculture, mining and banking have all been able to secure governmental support for their sectors, and Pengele says the relief that manufacturers get is not unique, but is given regionally and internationally. That war of words likely to intensify in the coming days. In company news now, National Commercial Bank Jamaica NCB has advised the stock exchange that Devika Lennon, General Manager of AIC Finance Limited, which is a subsidiary of NCB Capital Markets, demitted office on August 8. The bank says Nisha Morel Richards will act as General Manager until September 1, 2014, when it is intended that Mr. Angus Young will assume duties as Chief Executive Officer CEO. Now, on Friday, the bank had announced to the stock exchange that Nadine Nita, the Assistant General Manager of the Corporate Banking Division, will demit office effective August 15. Now, the bank had said this decision has been taken in the context of the ongoing review of the organizational structure at all levels. However, there was no indication or no explanation from the bank today about the reason for this latest senior management change. In equities now, the JSE Market Index declined today. Now, there was trading in 16 stocks, of which 7 advanced, 3 declined, and 6 maintained their value. Now, among the advancers on the day were Carreras, JMMB, Jamaica Producers, and Lime. Now, the declining equities were Jamaica Broilers Group, Sagicor Group Jamaica, and Sagicor Real Estate X Fund. The Gleaner Company and Lime were the volume leaders on the day. And that's the Owen James Report. I'm Garfield Burford. Good evening.
The Owen James Report was brought to you by
Grace Kennedy.
This program was brought to you by the Grace Kennedy Group. We choose to care.